Thank you all for connecting with us. Today, we meet with Nicolas Forero, advisor to the International Monetary Fund, who will talk to us about the global economy outlook and Colombia's economy prospects for 2021. Welcome, Nicolas.
Thank you, Emma. Okay, in the first place, and as we have seen, the recovery began to take hold in this third quarter of 2020. And that is why it is expected that throughout the year 2021, it will continue to strengthen gradually. The recovery is likely to be characterized by persistent social distancing until health risks disappear, or countries may have to tighten mitigation measures again depending on how the spread of the virus evolves. According to projections, world growth will reach 5% points in 2021. For this year, the growth rate of advanced economies is projected to increase by 3.9%. And the GDP of this group will be approximately 2% below its level of 2019. The US economy is expected to grow 3.1% in 2021. For the euro area, a deeper contraction of 8.3% is projected for the end of the current year, as the slowdown in the first half was more pronounced than that of the United States. Therefore, the rebound in growth predicted at 5.2% for 2021 is stronger given that the starting point is lower. Asia's advanced economies are projected to suffer less pronounced slowdown than Europe's, as the pandemic is more contained. This fact is also reflected in the softer falls in GDP during the first half of 2020. On the other hand, for emerging markets and developing economies, growth will be 6% in 2021. China's outlook is much more encouraging than most of the other countries in the group. The economy is forecast to grow around 10% in 2020 and 21, 1.9% this year and 8.2% next year. Activity normalizes faster than expected after most of the country reopened in early April, and second quarter GDP posted positive indices thanks to the strong supportive policies and resilient export. For many emerging markets and developing economies, excluding China, the outlook remains precarious due to a combination of factors: the continued spread of the pandemic and the overflow of health systems, the greater importance of highly affected sectors such as tourism, and the more market depends on external financing, including remittance. In addition to this, regional difference will continue to be marked. Many Latin American countries hit hard by the pandemic will face very deep slowdowns, and sharp falls in output are expected in many countries in the Middle East and Central Asia region, and in exporters of oil from sub-Saharan Africa affected by the low price of this raw material, civil strife of economic crisis. Furthermore, the pandemic will erase the progress made since the 90s toward reducing global poverty and exacerbate inequality. Those who depend on a daily wage and are outside of formal social safety nets will have to face a sudden loss of income. The burden of the crisis will continue to fall unevenly across sectors. If jobs are differentiated according to the attributes that make them more susceptible to telecommunication, the worker most affected by the pandemic will be those who work in food services, transportation, retail, and wholesale. Being a little more emphatic, taking Fede Desarrollo's projections as a reference, we can say that for the Colombian case, the 2021 will have a growth between 3.5% and 4.4%. On the demand side, the expansion of the economy will be based on the growth of domestic demand with private consumption and gross capital formation, the main drivers of the recovery of economic activity. presenting growth rates of 3.2% and 5.7%, respectively. In turn, the behavior of these variables will be in line with the expectation of the strengthening of the commerce, transport, accommodation, and food services sector, real estate, construction, and industry, along with growth in the sector of public administration and defense. Trade, transportation, accommodation, and food services will have a growth of 5.8%, consistent with a recovery in household consumption as a result of the progressive lifting of confinement measures in the country and the improvement in labor market indicators. For its part, the public administration and defense sector will grow at a rate of 2.7%, in line with the adjustment of the fiscal deficit for this year via a contraction in public spending. For the commercial sector, and starting from the deficit in the trade balance for this year, in 2021, a correction of the current account deficit as a percentage of GDP is expected, waiting for a recovery in imports and exports once the health emergency has been overcome and the economic activity of Colombia and its trading partners begins to recover. Additionally, a better oil price and a relatively depreciated exchange rate compared to previous years will help to adjust the trade balance. Finally, we expect higher income from current transfer compared to what will be reported this year, in line with the economic recovery and the labor market in the sender's country of residence.